Okay, so it's been a while since I made or posted any videos. If you've been following for the last few months, my husband Sean and we've been traveling to different countries through Europe, and the plan was actually to go to a few more countries in Asia. But as you can see in the intro, we had a big plan change. I'm now pregnant, so we're back in the States. I actually still have a lot of our traveling videos that I have not posted, but it's just I haven't been able to do much. So it's now 2026, it's New Year. Happy New Year. I thought it would be a good time to come back to making videos, and instead of posting our other traveling videos, today I want to share something very personal. It's a story of us trying to get pregnant, going through infertility, going through pregnancy loss, and also trying to find myself again and finally getting pregnant naturally. So whether you are watching this video just out of curiosity, or you are actually going through some tough time with infertility or pregnancy loss, I hope that after watching this video you'll find yourself again, and also you'll be able to allow yourself to be hopeful again. So I'm going to start by sharing our journey of trying to get pregnant. So we spent about more than 2 years trying to get pregnant before this happened. I know that 2 years doesn't sound like it's that long. I've heard stories of people trying even longer than that. But I feel like when you are in this journey, it feels like it's taking forever. After 1 year being in this process, I feel like it's been so long that I sometimes miscounted it, that like we've been trying for even longer just because of how much it takes from your emotion. It's been just a lot. So if you're watching this, either you are just starting to try, or like if you've been trying for so long, I really feel you, because being pregnant is not really something like and then you get pregnant. It's like you have to do a lot. And I understand that some couples, they don't have any hard time at all. Like first time they try, they get pregnant, that's good. But when I get into this journey, I hear more stories of like how people are having such a hard time trying to get pregnant, and it's something that is really hard on your emotion. So when we first started trying, it was just like, okay, we'll just let it go. I've always heard that it would take like average like 6 months to 1 year for couples under 35. I was like, okay, maybe we'll just let it go. We don't use any protection. We would just let it go and try to see if the miracle will happen. But after 10 months of trying, I don't know if it was like actively trying, because a lot of people would tell you like you have to be actively trying. And so after 10 months of trying, at that point I was already feeling worried, because for 10 months and nothing happened. So we decided to go make an appointment, and we didn't even know how to start, because it's all so new to us. And so we reached out to our provider, and our provider suggested to go see OBGYN. And when I scheduled an appointment to go see OBGYN, everything seems normal, because everything else I feel like I'm healthy. I don't have any irregular period. My period is regular. And so OBGYN suggested that if we want to like find out more in depth in terms of like my fertility health, they would suggest to go to see specialists. And to see specialists, it depends on your insurance, because sometimes your insurance will not cover it. So luckily at the time I was working for the city, and my insurance was pretty good, and it actually covered like 50%. So we went to see specialists, and they actually found out that I have uterus polyps. It was like something not dangerous at all if you don't need to get pregnant. I don't know the technical term, so you can look it up more if you're interested, if you want to find out more. But it's like something that hanging out in the uterus, which it interferes with the process of the egg meeting the sperm. So that's why it's causing some issue of me trying to get pregnant. So I actually had to go through a surgery to have that removed, and going through that surgery, it was not fun at all, because they gave me a lot of like medicine that it would change my mood completely. Like I became someone like really short-tempered, or I don't even know how to explain, but it was wild. My mood back then was wild, and so that was one process that I had to go through. And after the surgery, it was only like 1 month after surgery that they didn't even really give me time to process yet, and they suggested that, okay, we'll suggest that you go through IUI. I was like, at that point, it was hard because like, okay, we've been trying for a while. We decided that, okay, we don't want to waste any more time. So we went through IUI. So IUI is like a process. It's very similar to IVF. I know IVF is more broad and more known, but IUI is like a little less complicated than IVF. I had to also take medicine to help me ovulate, and also inject. I don't even remember what it's called, but like I had to inject something in my stomach for only one time. Compared to IVF, I've heard that you have to inject like a lot of the medicine into your body. Even that, I feel like it's so hard emotionally and physically. You are told to not go do anything like strenuous workout. I was at that point like my emotions are just so fixed in trying to get pregnant. I couldn't really focus on anything else, like even things I like to do, like going to Pilates or yoga. I stopped myself from going because I was like, okay, I gotta make sure that my body is not going through anything that will stop me from getting pregnant. So we went through the first cycle right after my surgery. I had surgery like in September, and then we started the process in October. Today is November 7th. I just did my blood test. So it would just be hormone test. If it's more than 5, which that means I'm pregnant. If it's not,
open up the test results right now, and it's serum 38. Normal value is less than.
I'm pregnant, babe. It's 38.
The normal value is 4, so she's way above. So she's been having some crazy cravings.
Oh my god. We got successful. I got pregnant. At that point, we had a trip booked to New York for the next day. It's crazy because we were also back then thinking of traveling a lot. We love traveling, and we wanted to like get out and enjoy more before being pregnant, before being parents and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, everything is booked for the trip, so we have to like get going. So we went to the trip, and unfortunately I wasn't really able to enjoy the trip that much because of how tired I was. I was like fatigued, like it was like crazy. That was my first trip to New York, and it was supposed to be exciting, but I feel like everything was taking away that exciting experience from me. But I was still pushing myself doing it, but my peace of mind was not there during the trip because I kept thinking of how safe is the travel. And I actually got some pregnancy tests while we were traveling, and for some reason the tests always come out negative, and I just couldn't stop but being really worried. So I couldn't really enjoy the trip. Right after we came back, I booked this appointment to go do the repeat blood test, because you're supposed to go to a repeat test to see if the HCG level has doubled, because this is also something I didn't know. So for healthy pregnancy, the HCG level has to double every like 48 to 72 hours. So I went immediately right after our trip to go take the HCG test again, and the result came back that my HCG level has dropped, and yeah, I wasn't pregnant anymore. So back then I was really confused. I was like, what was going on? Like, did I do something wrong? Maybe because we went to this trip, maybe I walked too much, maybe we did something, I ate something wrong or something. So I was just confused. It was devastating. Yeah, it's like you are confused, you are looking for answer. When I asked ChatGPT, it mentions that if the pregnancy loss happened like really early, that means it's what they call chemical pregnancy. At that point, I was still confused, like, why did this happen to me? Like, it was successful. We were excited and we thought that, okay, everything went as planned. But even this loss happened really early, it was still a lot to process. And I guess I didn't really notice it until later that I was actually already grieving for this loss. Even though, it's like I was pregnant for like a few days, I felt like everything was unfair, and I think I took it out on my husband Sean. I didn't know how to process this, just it was so much. But then something that like slap me in the face, it's like slap me in the face is a phrase from Sean saying, "It's hard for me too." And the moment he said, "It's hard for me too," I was just like, okay, I'm not the only one who's going through this. Like, he's going through it too, and he's trying to help himself feel better, and also he has to help me feel better. So I just like, okay, I have to get back up again. I can't let this beat me up. And so because the HCG level has dropped, my period also started that day after I took the test. So yeah, because my period started, I had to go in for another cycle for IUI. It's just because we had talked to our provider, and the provider had suggested that we try 3 cycles of IUI. If it doesn't happen, then we'll talk about the further treatment option. And it's like life keeps going on, right? Like, we were told to come back the next few days to continue the next treatment, the next cycle treatment. It's like I didn't even have time to process this loss yet, and we are told to go in to start the next cycle already. At that point, even doing the next cycle of IUI, I wasn't really hopeful. I don't think I was really there for the treatment, because I was just like, okay, let's just get it done. But at the same time, I was trying to tell myself that, it happened the first cycle, so maybe there's hope in that. But yeah, the second cycle, we were not successful. And at that point, I was telling myself that this is so hard. This is like, I don't know how other people are going through IVF for a few cycles back to back. I don't know how other people are going through years and years of trying and going through different treatments. It's just so much on your emotion. When I was going through the treatment too, like, I couldn't be myself at all. My mind is just on that. Whatever I feel, even just a little bit different, I feel like, oh, am I pregnant? Oh, am I this? Am I that? It's like I can't focus on other things. Like, my mind is only on getting pregnant, and I felt like I wasn't myself anymore. So after the second cycle of IUI, I was telling myself that, this is too much. I don't know how other people are going through it. I try to read books. I try to read everything. I try to look up videos online, trying to listen to what people say, but I just feel like I couldn't keep going. And I told my husband that, I don't think I can keep going anymore. I think I need a break. And Sean, he's very like supportive. He has always told me that, if it doesn't feel right for you, it's okay. We can, take our time, keep going, be natural. It's okay if it doesn't happen too. Like, he's very supportive. And then I decided to refocus on myself. I decided to refocus on things I like to do, going to Pilates, going to yoga, cooking. I also, even though at that point I was like, okay, we'll just take a break, I was still holding on to hope. We were still trying naturally, and I did change a lot in terms of like my eating habits, my sleeping habit, my workout schedule and everything. Just like I want to refresh my mind, and I also want to like change myself for better. So I was trying to eat more clean. I changed a lot of like the cosmetic product to like being clean. Even at home cleaning products, I try to change as much as possible to like clean ingredient, because you know, after going through this infertility or the loss, I actually was listening to a lot of podcasts. I was listening to a lot of like people talking about how they've changed their lifestyle and they got pregnant, and just in general listening to like a lot of things related to health too. So yeah, I was just trying to refocus on myself, and I was thinking that, okay, well, you know, after the surgery, I didn't give myself time at all to try naturally. Maybe the uterus polyps can be the reason why we couldn't get pregnant. Right after surgery, we rushed into this IUI, which put a lot of like emotional toll on me. So I wanted to like, okay, let's give it a little time, because it's a lot to try to do all those treatments. So we allow ourselves a little time, and randomly, like, we went to a trip in Santa Barbara, and we've always been enjoying traveling. So right after the chemical pregnancy, we also did a road trip to Arizona, through, I think, I don't even remember, but we did a lot. We like traveled so much, and we went to different states. We were trying to look at like moving out of states. We were eventually looking at like traveling as put our life on the road. And we had this crazy idea when we were on this trip to Santa Barbara that we wanted to maybe travel more and internationally. So we decided and we planned and we went for it. So we started in UK. We went through a few countries. We went to Paris, we went to Switzerland, we went to Italy. We went on a cruise through 4 different countries. The cruise started in Italy, and then it went through 4 different countries. No, actually only 3 countries. Cephalonia, Greece, and what is the other country? Croatia. Yeah, so we went through those countries, and then we also decided to take like a long break in Spain. Yeah, it was like 2 months after we started traveling, and we found out that we were pregnant in Spain.
We just got our blood test results. We stopped in the lab.
The result is good.
Her level is 17,300 for her HCG, which is around the time of 5 to 6 weeks pregnant. So this is all in Spanish, but we had ChatGPT analyze it for us. Okay, we're here to see the OB/GYN to get our first ultrasound.
Excited and nervous.
September 29th. She's already getting some morning sickness.
Yeah, couldn't really eat.
I don't know how much longer I'll last.
You screaming for help? It's too late. By the time this video released, it's too late. This was about 8 months after the chemical pregnancy, and it was really unexpected. It was just, oh really, it happened. Oh my god, like, because after the chemical pregnancy, we kept trying naturally, just hoping that, you know, if the miracle happens, it will happen. And even when we were traveling, we told ourselves that we'll just let it be, because if it happens, it happens. And really, in my mind back then though, is that I don't think it will ever happen. Like at that point, I was like giving up. I was like, it's not gonna happen. And a funny thing is that we actually booked an appointment for IVF in Spain, because we've heard of like how Spain has good quality in terms of like infertility treatment. So we booked an appointment for the consultation for IVF, and we were really thinking of like, okay, so after all this travel, if it still doesn't happen, we'll take a look at IVF and we'll see how it goes. But my period was late, and I was like, I need to just take a test. I wasn't even expecting that I was pregnant, because I was like at that point like, I've seen so many negative pregnancy tests that I didn't feel like this is gonna be just another negative test. So I just like, okay, I just need to get it over with. I just want to make sure, get that negative pregnancy test, and then I'll go work out and try to make sure that my period will come again. And I don't like it when my period is late, so I'm like, just get it tested, get that negative pregnancy test, and then I'll go work out. And then I got the 2 lines. It was also hard because we were not in our country, so we had to do a lot of research to look for like a clinic that the doctors speak English. I was really surprised because we were in Valencia and a lot of people don't speak English. We were trying to look for the clinics and we went in for blood tests. We were able to get ultrasound at week 6. And yeah, it was exciting because we heard the heartbeat. Even then, I feel like because of the loss that I've had before, as much as I wanted to be excited for this pregnancy, I was really scared. I was really anxious because, it's like, oh my God, I don't want it to be like last time. Getting pregnant after going through one loss is very different. The anxiety just kicks in as much as the excitement. It's different. We actually had to travel to Korea because we had a flight booked already. We actually had our pregnancy care in Korea. We also had to do a lot of research to look for an English-speaking doctor in Korea, and we found one that is like pretty good. All staff speak English, the doctors speak English, and I would say this clinic has very high standard, which I like. And they did like all these tests. We did all this ultrasound. The baby is growing well, very healthy, and yeah, it's been crazy because we had to go through different countries to try to get the pregnancy care, and we decided to cancel our trips to Shanghai and Japan because it will be like a lot of walking, and at that point I was really like tired.
She's hanging in there. Yeah. Getting up, eating, watch a little TV, go back to sleep.
The morning sickness was not bad, thankfully, but I was really tired. I slept so much. Thankfully, in Korea, the food is really good and the food is affordable there. So we were staying in Korea for like 5 weeks just to make sure that I passed the 3 months period. And then we took a trip to Cambodia to visit my family. And that was the best moment because, when you're able to celebrate a little with your family.
Not that easy. There we go. There we go.
It's one of the most amazing feeling, when you really want something and you finally get it. It's like you really, really know how to appreciate it. With all the experience that I've gone through, I think it turned me into someone who I am today. Appreciate is a big thing for me now, appreciation, because it really happens. I just really want to make sure that I really, really take care of this well, and I want to make sure that everything goes well. So I chose to share this story with you today because even I, myself, didn't believe that I was capable of getting pregnant. And at the time when I feel like I was the most hopeless, the miracle happened. And I know that not every story will have the beautiful ending. A lot of people try and it still never happened, but I believe that regardless of how it ends or how it's going, I believe that we are all capable of creating that beautiful ending that we want. I think there's nothing more important than trying to find yourself again. Refocus on yourself, refocus on what you like to do, refocus on living, just live your life. And sometimes that's the time when things will happen.
Yeah.
For me, back then, I chose to refocus on myself. I chose to let go. I chose to tell myself that, there are things that sometimes it's not in your control, and what you can control is to just live your life. And if it happens, it will happen. If it doesn't, then we'll find alternative ways. And if the alternative ways still don't lead us to that direction or to the outcome that we want, it's not the end of the world. It's like just create another ending, create another happiness that you can find. I know it's easy for me to say it now because it happened to me, but back then when we were traveling, I was really just tell myself that if it happens, if it will happen, and if it doesn't, it's fine. We'll find other things that we enjoy. Wanting to be a parent is a beautiful thing, but I think the most important thing is you still have yourself and you don't lose yourself through this process. It's a long and hard process, so it's important that you have yourself in this process. But I hope that after you listen to this story, it really gives you the perspective that life doesn't always go as how we plan, but life will give you something beautiful at the most beautiful moment and at the right time. If you're struggling with infertility or pregnancy loss, I feel you, and I hope that this story will be just one of those stories that you've seen and you've heard that hope is there, and don't give up. If it's something that you really want to have, you keep pursuing it, and just know that it's okay even though it doesn't happen, because life doesn't end there. Life is full of opportunities. So thank you for listening to this long story. I hope that it has helped you in some way. And if you know someone that is going through this tough time and think that this video will help them, don't forget to share with them. And by chance, if you're going through some tough journey yourself, I really want to hear your story too, if you don't mind sharing. So comment below and let me know, and maybe you will also help other people that are also watching this video.